Hey everybody, it is Josh here, youth pastor at North Park Fanshawe. I hope you're having a great week so far. This is your April update. I wanted to tell you a little bit about what's going on at North Park Youth during the month of April. And there are a few things. So the first thing is Wednesday night. It's the thing that we believe in the most because it means small groups, it means time spent with one another. It's a really key part of what we do as a youth ministry. And that happens every Wednesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. You show up at North Park, you get checked in, your students get checked in, and then they come in for some worship and some teaching, some games, and then of course small group, snack bar, all these things where we build community with one another. So again, that happens from 7 to 9 p.m. every week. We are going to be aiming to do some off-site stuff at the end of April, so you can stay tuned for that. Maybe the last Wednesday night of April, we'll be trying to do off-site small group nights like we were doing in the fall. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. What I want you to do is sign up for our parent newsletter at northpark.ca/subscribe. If you select the youth newsletter, we send out a weekly newsletter telling you exactly what's going on in our youth ministry for that week. And as we get closer to the end of April, we'll have more info on exactly what we'll be doing with those offsite nights. But we also every week give you some updates on what we're doing on Wednesday nights, the teaching we're going through, and all sorts of other good stuff. So if you don't subscribe to that already, please make sure you do that. The other thing I want to tell you about is our junior high Sunday mornings. If you didn't know this, every Sunday morning at North Park, in the youth theater at the other end of the building, we have our junior high Sunday morning. It happens during the 9 a.m. service and during the 11 a.m. service. It's a really great time. Again, we've got small groups happening, we've got some free time hangout, and then we do some teaching and small group discussion together as well. So if your students, your junior high students, grades 6 to 8, don't come for that on Sunday mornings already, make sure you drop them off at the kiosks in the middle of the building. While you go to church, they come and hang out with us, and we do church, and it's a great time together. Finally, I've mentioned this before, but we have a podcast, and we're actually doing two types of podcasts now, both on the North Park Youth podcast that you can find on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anything like that. You can listen to these podcasts. We release an episode every Monday. It's just kind of something fun Cody and I get to do. Usually we're playing a game or talking about some funny news headlines, but just a way for students to engage with us in a little bit of a lighthearted way. But then on Thursdays, we've started doing our Love Does podcast. We're doing a 6-part series. So if you're watching this and halfway through April, we may be 3 or 4 episodes in, but you can go all the way back to the beginning. We're reading a book called Love Does by Bob Goff, talking about putting our faith into action, talking about what love does within us and for others as we express our faith outwardly. So we're going through that book week by week. We're doing about 5 chapters per week where Cody and I just sit down and talk about them. But that's a really great chance if your students are looking for a way to go a little bit deeper. Maybe they want to read this book and then follow along with the podcast. I'd encourage them to do that. Again, you can find that on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anywhere you find podcasts. You can even search it in Google, North Park Youth Podcast, and the Spotify link shows up right at the top. So that's it for me for April. We'll see you again in May, but this has been your update.